Welcome to Hypnotic Authenticity. This is a place to reflect, a place to unwind perhaps, to understand yourself a little better, and to gently reshape the patterns that guide your life. A little bit like a conversation between you and your deeper self. So I'm offering a sprinkling of hypnosis, insight, some meditative guidance, and it's all going to be woven throughout a deep sense of practicality. So that if I do my job well, each episode is going to help you feel more grounded, also more open, and more authentically you. So if you're ready, let's begin.
Hello everybody, my name is Chris. I work as a clinical hypnotherapist. I do that in Geneva, in Switzerland. I'm going to talk to you today about the essence of what I am communicating in all of my videos. So this is sort of an introductory précis to everything that I'm doing. Because I am, believe it or not, amusingly transmitting a sort of a mission a mission through doing this. Now, the astute amongst you might have noticed that although I may be in Switzerland, I'm not Swiss, so I'm British. I'm hoping that British, I don't know what you want to call it, self-deprecating humor, maybe, cynicism, stoicism, feet flat on the ground realism will bring a certain effervescence to the communication that I'm trying to spread. But my main reason to do this is to explain to you, if I do the job well, what you should get from it, why you should pay attention. So let me tell you my mission, okay? And even saying that amuses me, because 10 years ago there is no way I would have said such a thing. But here's my mission, for better or for worse, okay? My mission is for you, dear viewer, dear listener, to become a better friend to yourself, to understand yourself, to maybe permit yourself some slack, to maybe forgive yourself or accept yourself, to get back on track, to discover your internal compass, to maybe feel like you've finally come home, to discover your mojo, your motivation, your reason for being on this planet. All of that. And a whole lot more. Now, I do this, my kind of vehicle of choice is hypnotherapy. And so a lot of what I'm talking about in the videos will be hypnotic in some shape or form. But really what I'm talking about is a deeper understanding of yourself, by whatever means that makes sense to you. Now, if you're like me, maybe there's already a few alarm bells ringing, right? Maybe there's already a sort of who on earth is this guy? And he doesn't know me, and how dare he suggest that he knows how I should think or act or speak. Maybe there's part of you that thinks even if I do know, it still wouldn't work for you. Who knows, right? There's a whole variety of things going on. So let's kind of address that straight away, because indeed, I don't know you. And one of the things that I have understood, especially from publishing the videos on YouTube, is that they do have global reach. And you build a little bit of a sense of connection, but there's still a vast chasm in there. And I don't really want that chasm. So if you do resonate with what it is that I'm talking about, if you want to build a line of communication, write to me, communicate with me. You can write comments down below. You can find me on social media. You can look at my website and send me an email. I would love to understand everybody, in actual fact, who is dancing this dance of life with me, either through the podcasts or the YouTube videos, or working with me as a client, or reading my blog, or whatever it may be. I would love to know what resonates, what makes you tick, what you like, what you don't like about the things that I'm communicating. But yeah, so maybe part of the reason why I'm doing the video, in actual fact, is because I do not know you. I don't know what's going on in your mind. You have your own life story. You've got your own experiences, your own history. And I can't guess what that is. But by explaining to you where I'm coming from, what my perspective is, the stories that are underpinning my current basis for reality, well, then maybe you can decide if that is relevant and valid or credible or whatever it may be to you. Yeah. What about this idea that I kind of know better than you? Because that's a brilliant one, right? Now, I try as hard as I possibly can to bring a sense of humility to everything that I'm talking about. Now, I do have an ego. Everybody has an ego. And the reason why I'm doing these videos, the reason why I'm talking in this way, is because I did have my personal moment of awakening, of emancipation, of self-awareness, which is a joyous thing to kind of help spread the word. But I do not know better than you. In fact, actually, the more I understand, the more I realize how little I know. So I'm not trying to tell you what to do, tell you how to live your life, tell you how to think. None of that. I'm just hopefully giving you a different perspective that if you decide to play with, if you decide to open up your mind to the possibility that it might also be interesting, you could come to a different experiential perspective from the one which sits within the realms of the chains of your current mind. Yeah, because the way that people change is by experience something which doesn't fit within the definition of what they currently think of as their worldview, and then something has to give. So I'm going to give you 1,001 different ways to think about what it is to be you, about your meaning-making machine, about the labels that you attach to things, about what you consider to be right, wrong, good, bad, relevant, indifferent, your capabilities, your skills, your weaknesses, your sense of your truth, your identities, your core values, your meaning, your drivers, everything, the whole shebang. And in providing this video, I guess what I'm kind of doing is I'm laying out that Las Vegas buffet, okay? There is a lot on the buffet, but this is the chef. All right. So you can have a chat with me and then you can decide which bits you care about and which bits you're just going to leave. Yeah. Because that's your choice. You hold all the keys. Okay. What about this thing then that I said, well, even if whatever he says is relevant, it still won't work for me. Okay. Henry Ford, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. This kind of gets to the crux of pretty much everything that I'm talking about. So I won't dwell too deeply upon it because it is an enormous subject. But what I am going to go through with you are all the potential ways of relooking about something that you already feel sure about. It doesn't mean that you're wrong and I'm right, but what I'm trying to do is expand the spectrum of possibility, to give you more options, to give you more flexibility, to perhaps choose to look at yourself in different ways when that will serve you. So my job is to contribute. Your job is to choose, to decide which bits are relevant and which bits are not. And I'm not going to infringe upon your boundary, I'm just providing you with information. But I am here because the stuff I'm talking about works. It worked for me. I know it works for others. I know it's incredibly powerful if you choose to align with it, if you choose to bring a sense of open-minded curiosity and wonderment and go with the experience, whatever the experience may be, without really judging whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, whether you did it to the best of your ability or not, that you just did what you did in the moment. So I hope some of that makes sense. So let me explain to you a little bit about me, yeah, about how I ended up here, because this is quite absurd, right? I've worked on 399 Park Avenue. I've worked in tall skyscrapers in London. I've had the big title, the gold bar with my name on it, sort of thing. I've had the big ego. In actual fact, I kinda set my goals in life and then kind of did them. And I thought I had achieved what I set out to achieve. And the problem is, once I kind of achieved what I set out to achieve, it turns out that I didn't care. I didn't find the meaning from it that I thought, because the things that I had set out to achieve, I hadn't really understood. I hadn't thought through. And I was probably running on the rails that had been created by the stories in my mind as part of the family structure and the culture structure and the university structure and all that kind of stuff as to what a guy like me should do. So I did it. And then I had to pinch myself, because there's a certain point where you get to a position of awakening of, is this really me? Am I at ease in my skin? Am I comfortable here? Do I feel like I'm home? And the truth was, I felt a little bit absent. I felt as though I was not feeling as much as I should. It seemed to be a lot of effort to maintain the story that I created yesterday, let's say. And one of our core needs, I think, in actual fact, is to maintain consistency with yesterday. But when you're not happy with that, that can be a bit of a bind, can be a bit tiring. And so I had my moment. I had my kind of night of the long, dark soul. I had the moment of, Christopher, you need to wake up. So before, it wasn't really tangible. It wasn't real. I just had this sort of nagging feeling that I wasn't me, wasn't really feeling like me. There was something lacking. And it came to me in a moment. Now, maybe that moment took 10 years to arrive. I can't tell you that. But the moment of change, it's like that. So I resolved, with a thirst for knowledge, with a hunger for knowledge, to change, let's say. To not be what I was. I didn't know where I was going, but I knew what not to do. And ironically, at the end of the process, which I won't bore you with, it felt more like coming home. It felt actually more like returning to what I was, having kind of scratched away the mask of inauthenticity and becoming truly myself. So that's how I came to begin the process of understanding the way that I and the way that people create their reality, the way that they come to define what it is that they think they're capable of, good, bad at, where their skills lie, where they're afraid, what the hurdles are, why those hurdles are so fixed inside their mind. The whole idea of, in actual fact, what I guess you would call human needs psychology. So I've learned a lot about psychologists, about the various theories. I've learned about alternatives like hypnosis. I studied with Tony Robbins' gang, the Coaching Institute out in California. I studied hypnosis under a guy that I hold in absolute massive high regard called Dr. John Butler. He's based in London. And I'm now delivering on that to the best of my humble ability, in the hope that it may move you towards whatever your own definition of authenticity and heartfelt honesty and self-actualization is for you. I hope that makes sense. I hope some of it hits home. If it does, go check out I've got a podcast, Hypnotic Authenticity. I have a YouTube channel, Authentic Life Coaching Hypnosis. I have two websites, authenticlifecoaching.ch and swisshypnotherapy.ch. I have a blog. You can find my email on there. Get in touch, communicate, kick the tires. Go have a look at what I've written on the blog. Go have a look at the various subcategories of my YouTube channel. And if any of that resonates, let me know. Yeah, because then that means you can help guide me to be better tomorrow. Thank you very much for listening or for watching. I'll give you a little kind of amusement now. So this, if you're watching, and if you're not, I'll describe it. I'm in what I guess is an old castle. It is surrounded by a moat. I think it's around about 1,000 years old. And the moat, now obviously it's kind of chilly at the minute, but as the temperatures climb, the moat becomes filled with frogs and toads, absolutely filled. So there is a cacophony, a frog chorus, a song to the heavens, a cry for a mate from thousands and thousands of frogs surrounding this. And every evening, as the temperature is very, very warm, there's this extraordinary sound. If that sort of stuff means anything to you, then the hypnotic recordings that I have done should fill your imagination and your heart with movement, let's say. Yeah. Because that's my job, right? Is to excite your imagination, to get you to see that there are more possibilities and suck the marrow out of life as a result. Yeah. I'm going to finish with something called the Gestalt prayer. And I have to refer to a piece of paper from this because I want to get it right. But this underpins everything that I'm talking about. This was written by a guy called Fritz Perls. So it's back in the 60s. I do my thing, and you do your thing. I am not in this world to live up to your expectations, and you are not in this world to live up to mine. You are you, and I am I. And if by chance we find each other, it is beautiful. And if not, it can't be helped. That to me, tremendously beautiful, tremendously beautiful. If that's meaningful, and basically what that's talking about is boundaries, yeah? What is your role? What is my role? What are our life tasks, our life jobs? What it is to be a member of the human race? How that fits with our current definition of reality, our current definition of truth, our perspective, our perception, our feelings. You know, I used to kind of think before I did all of this that I was a brain being transported by a body and that my thoughts were everything. Your perspective expands when you do this. You know, maybe one of the ways that I might encourage would be for you to become, what do you want to call it? Like a connected information highway between your head and your heart and your gut and your organism. You know, we are an organism, not a mechanism. We are capable of conflicted thoughts, of multivariable thoughts, which don't align in the way that a cause-effect mind hopes that it does, but that nonetheless is the way that it is in the current story of the current story of the current veil. I don't know. If any of that makes sense to you, go check me out. Yeah? Subscribe to the videos. Have a look on my website. If you want to, if there's something in particular that you want to fix on my website, you can find there is a place where you can actually book a 30-minute chat for free. And I would love to hear from you. I would love to understand what it is that makes you tick, what is getting in the way, where you want to be, what you've tried that hasn't worked, all of that good stuff. And then to start to, I don't know what you want to call it, yeah, blue sky thinking, hypothesizing, imagining. When you get your imagination on the side of your goal, you are like a steam train. I could talk about this forever, but then we'd never stop. All right. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If it resonates with you, then follow my podcast. I would also personally be really grateful if you might wish to leave a quick rating. It genuinely helps others to discover the podcast. If you personally would like more guided meditations, you want some deeper insights, you'll find all my links in the description. If you prefer a more visual boost, then you might want to check out my YouTube channel called Authentic Life Hypnosis. And if you're looking to do some deeper work that goes beyond one-way audio, then obviously you're very welcome to reach out. Equally, if you have any questions, I'm here to help. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.